First it was the Rugby World Cup. Now South Africa is making international headlines again.
That's after Zozibini Tunzi wowed the world, taking the Miss Universe title in Atlanta in the United States.
Tunzi, who was crowned Miss South Africa in August, blew away 89 other young women with her outstanding answers and closing statement.
She's the third South African to have won the coveted title.
The new Miss Universe is South Africa.
The moment that took even her breath away. A confident display from the 26-year-old who hails from the Eastern Cape and who only got her modelling start just months ago.
What is the most important thing we should be teaching young girls today?
I think the most important thing we should be teaching young girls today is leadership. It's something that has been lacking in young girls and women for a very long time, not because we don't want to, but because of what society has labeled women to be. I think we are the most powerful beings on the world, and that we should be given every opportunity, and that is what we should be teaching these young girls, to take up space. Nothing as important as taking up space in society and cementing yourself. Thank you.
Tunzi follows the most recent success of Demi Lee Nell Peters, who claimed the same title in 2017 after Margaret Gardner won it for South Africa in 1978, making this the third crowning achievement in this competition for the country. Tunzi beat contestants from Mexico and Puerto Rico who completed the top three, becoming the first Miss Universe to wear the brand new Power of Unity crown worth a whopping 72 million rand. Her top five response on climate change was also noteworthy on whether leaders of today are doing enough to protect future generations.
I think that the future leaders could do a little bit more, but however, I feel like we as individuals ourselves can also play a part in making the climate the way it should be in the future. I mean, we have children protesting for climate, and I feel like as adults we should join as well. We should have corporations join as well, and the government should take it seriously.
Tunzi, who made her first trip to the Big Apple in September, where she walked the Amaxhosa show at New York Fashion Week, made these prescient remarks then.
First time in New York Fashion Week, first time in New York even, and to think I wasn't a model about a month ago, and now all of a sudden I'm finding myself walking in a very big city. I mean, it's a testament to how dreams come true, and really not mattering where you come from and just having a vision and making sure you go for it. And I never imagined this would happen, but you know, here I am having the best time ever.
Dreams realized and a nation in awe and admiration.
The nation is very proud of Zozibini Tunzi. The President has sent his warmest congratulations to her. Her win is an affirmation, not only to young African women, but to women across the world, that indeed their dreams are valid. And as they continue to pursue and live out their dreams, they need to stand for something. Zozibini is a passionate and advocate, a supporter that flies very high the gender equality flag.
We congratulate Miss South Africa for having won Miss Universe. And it's a good confirmation that you do not have to alter your appearance to win a beauty contest. She went there full on in the manner in which she looked, and we really support her. She's the most beautiful person in the world.
Well, I think at this rate we have to agree with him that indeed she is the most beautiful person in the world. We now cross over to our SABC correspondent, Sherwin Bryce-Pease, who joins us from New York. Hello, Sherwin. I wonder whether you as well were walking around telling people that, hey, in case you didn't know it, I'm from South Africa, where Zozibini is from, Miss Universe.
Absolutely. You know, we have an office here at the United Nations in New York, Aldrin, and one of the first things a colleague said to me today is, you know, are you celebrating? Much like we did after the World Cup. And I'll tell you what, the lights might be off in South Africa, but the lights were on in Atlanta last night, and she really did soak up the spotlight. You know, these were not easy questions. These were not run-of-the-mill questions. These were about important issues facing the global agenda today. You know, we talk about the Sustainable Development Goals. Goal 5 is about women's empowerment, women's emancipation. You know, that question about leadership. She was spot on. I'm sure Phumzile Mlambo-Ngcuka, the executive director of UN Women, would have been very pleased by that response. I can also tell you the executive director of UN Women is in South Africa right now. So, Aldrin, you have a job to do and hunt her down so that you can get her response. And then, of course, also that very powerful statement on climate change, one of the top agenda items at the United Nations, and one of the existential crises that are facing the world today. And again, she didn't just talk about the role of government or the role of leaders in the world, but individual leadership, which is what we need if we are going to beat the consequences that face us in terms of climate change. So really standout performance. She really set herself apart from the other 89 contestants, and a really proud day, I think, for South Africa that really does need some good news today.
Well, certainly. And on top of that, looking at supermodel Tyra Banks, and the caption of a tweet that she sent out was like, oh my gosh, so proud, because this goes beyond just a South African woman winning, but it is about black girl magic that happened as the entire world was watching.
Black Girl Magic happening at a studio owned by Tyler Perry, Aldrin, and he has just opened up the first African-American owned film studio anywhere in the United States. So, you know, her coming as a black woman from Africa, from South Africa, the first time that an African woman has won this competition since 2011, when Angola's Leila Lopez won the competition. So there was a lot of symbolism, one could say, in terms of her victory last night. But I want to take us back to a conversation, Aldrin, we had with Zozibini Tunzi when she walked the Amaxhosa show in New York in September. You know, this was the question I posed to her was in terms of the difficulties that South Africa had been encountering in terms of gender-based violence, in terms of the attacks we saw on foreigners and South Africans on the streets of some of our big cities. Let's listen to what she had to say that day and how it still resonates to what South Africa is going through right now.
I was struggling a bit, you know, to feel good about being here with everything that's happening back home, because in my heart, you know, I would have rather been there. But, you know, it's not a coincidence that I'm here in this platform, because then it means I can shout even louder about the problems that are happening in the country wherever I am. And I'm very excited to be here. I'm very honored, you know, to be able to be here in the midst of everything that's happening. You know, something good at least is happening for the country.
Sherwin, I think this also goes back to how she answered that question around leadership and women having to cement their space in leadership.
Well, she also drew the attention of Oprah Winfrey, no less. She tweeted immediately after that statement last night, Oprah Winfrey saying, "Congratulations, Miss South Africa, the new Miss Universe. I agree with you. Leadership is the most powerful thing we should be teaching young women today. We welcome your visit to the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls." Felicia Mabuza-Suttle also got in on the mix. You did it, Zozi Tunzi. You shattered negative stereotypes, perceptions about Africa. We are walking even taller today than ever. You have demonstrated to every young black and brown girl that they too can. And then Felicia quotes Sally Ride, a famous astronaut here in the United States, quote, "Yes, you cannot be what you cannot see." And I think reflecting the sentiments expressed by Miss Universe in terms of what she looks like, you know, her hair, and how she wants to be representative of young people today, looking at television screens, looking at magazines, and seeing themselves in someone that really has reached the highest accolades here in the United States last night.
What happened to Zozibini now? Her life changes, of course. Where would she be staying beyond this particular day as we celebrate her achievements?
She will be moving to New York. She'll be put up in an apartment here, luxury apartment, for the duration of her reign. There will be all sorts of cash prizes. You know, this tiara that she wore worth $5 million, which is about 73 million rand. The first time that it has been awarded to the new Miss Universe. This was a new tiara crown that was developed for last night's competition. She will have dental services, skincare consultations, professional nutritionists. She will be represented by the Miss Universe organization. She will be invited to red carpet Hollywood screenings, premiere years. She will be flown around the world for various events, and of course what she will be able to do is to shape what her agenda will be over the next year. And what we understand is that gender-based violence is something that is very close to her heart. So I imagine we're going to see her show up in events and use the platform afforded her now to shine a light on certainly something that is very close to the hearts of many South Africans, and certainly a worldwide scourge that can do with an additional voice in terms of that. But yeah, her life is going to change completely, and who knows what's going to come from that. I will just point out that Demi Lee Nell Peters, our last Miss Universe that won the crown in 2017, also found love in the United States during that year in New York. And of course, she's now engaged to a famous football star, Tim Tebow, and they're going to be getting married not into the distant future. So it's very much a message, I think, to South African men that if you don't hurry up, she might be lost to you.
How dare you, Sherwin? How dare you? Sherwin Bryce-Pease joining us.
I mean, if she's looking, it's up to her, of course.
Anyway, thank you so much. Yes. How dare he does that, eh?
But did I not tell you so just 2 minutes ago? What did I say?
Anyway,
Trevor Noah, she's coming to your part of the world.
It's not too late to enroll. You can be Miss Universe too.
Trevor Noah, she's coming to your neck of the woods, so maybe you should take our girl out and show her around.
All
All right, so as the world celebrates the